listening, audience, and welcome to another Toonkind at 12 frames per second. My name is Whirl. I am one of your players for the day, and I am joined by my dearly beloved, wonderful friend.
Hi, my name is Wiss, and I'm playing Lil Stagehand today. And this is the first time I've got to introduce him like that. I'm excited.
It's wholesome, Your Honor. He's precious.
Hmm.
As for yours truly, I will be playing local he who funky 1 day-ish old Lethelogica Beckford, aka Lethy. She's confused. And
Honestly, same.
you never just be confused. You ever just be confused. That's just a mood. I can hear my dogs barking downstairs. Anyway, so the last FPS Lethy was in, which this is taking place directly after, last FPS that Lethy was in, she wound up visiting over at Detective Lil Stagehand's house, the lovely and friendly and very kind network, who is a good bean.
A
And
very good house-shaped bean.
very good house-shaped bean. Just 10 out of 10. That's a quality home right there. And Lethy came over to visit to teach Lynn some shenanigans with the He Who Funky Magic language Echo, which is basically touch telepathy. And accidentally wound up staying the night because it's a long way back to her hotel. And it is morning after, and Lethy is, as a matter of fact, getting ready to go back to her hotel. Can't seem to find her hat.
So I imagine that after having a look around in the guest room where Lynn would have put her up for the night, you sort of branch out looking over the rest of networks upstairs and then eventually moving downstairs. And do you want to roll me a perception to start off with?
I would love to roll you a perception. Let me just actually grab my character sheet. That's what I was fucking forgetting to do. I'm a dumbass. Alright, there you are, Lethy. Did you say perception?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not investigation. D20 plus 7. She's got good eyeballs. That's an 18.
Oh, great. Okay. So you're looking around on the ground floor. You've sort of moved away from the stairs and looking around in that sort of main area in the middle of network. And as you do, you can hear something from upstairs. And it sounds an awful lot like a bit of a tip, 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 and then a stop. And then you hear this very, very impactful thump sort of noise. And there is a distinct hum from network, sort of off in the distance. And then you can hear another voice hum back, followed by another tip, 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 which is coming towards you from the stairs area.
Yeah, she's going to turn and look for the source of this because, oh, sound. Okay, sound is happening. Hello, there are people here.
And you turn around, and there is another Toon there. He's a smidge shorter than Lynn when Lynn has not stolen your boots.
Excuse you, those boots were a gift.
Yeah, a smidge shorter than Lynn at Lynn's normal height, and clearly not looking where he's going. But he's wearing a sort of tattered-looking grey hoodie with a white hood, and is just basically sprinting through the house, and hasn't noticed you yet.
Oh dear. I think Lethy has not had enough experience with existence yet to know what to do at the sight of a small child barreling around the house at bullet speed. I don't think she even knows this is a child because, her experience with people is kind of limited. She's been around for a week. So she's just going to kind of blankly stare, like, oh, okay, there's another living being in the room now. I still can't find my hat.
Okay, that being the case, do you want to roll a dex save?
Oh boy.
And I'll roll one for Rye.
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah.
No, there we go. That's a 21.
Oh, great. Okay, so he comes barreling at you, and you can kind of tell that his one single eye is closed in that haha, I'm giggling and laughing, not watching where I'm going kind of way. And you do a nice sweeping step to get out of his way just as he sort of barrels through the space where you were, and then he trips on the carpet and just goes poof.
Wait. Since I got a 21, can I say that she, catches him, please?
You absolutely can. But he pitches, and oh no! And then you can catch him before he hits the deck.
Yeah, she just sort of gently sticks out her umbrella, catches the child, and rights him. Just... You might want to be a bit more careful.
He's sort of half slumped over your umbrella a little bit, and then just sort of blinks and turns his head to look up at you and go, oh, hello.
Hello.
Are you here to see, Mom?
Oh, you're the one she was talking about. Oh. Well, I was yesterday. I'm leaving now, or I would be, if I could find my hat, which I cannot. Where has my hat gone?
Oh, you've been here already? Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I can help you find your hat.
That would be much appreciated. But manners first. And she sort of gently, makes sure that Small Bean is on his feet, then sweeps her umbrella up over her shoulder and offers a hand to shake and says, Lethelogica Beckford, I'm new here.
He sort of sticks out a hand to accept the handshake, and his arm, his whole hand to elbow is just this big orb, and he's got three little they're basically just line work sticking out the end as for fingers, but he takes it, and you can tell that the enthusiastic handshake was supposed to be one of those really strong enthusiastic handshakes, but he doesn't have an awful lot of strength in this handshake, so it's just a very, very kind of movement, but he doesn't seem bothered.
Listen, we're Toons. She's going to play along for the gag. I hope you know.
That makes him very happy.
She has been studying up on Toon manners, and Toon manners indicate that you always help somebody complete their gag, no matter how physically strong they are.
Well, that is stunning. He is delighted by the fact that your arm actually goes up and down in a big one of those nice big blurs. And he responds, "My name is Rye. Little Rye Stagehand at your service."
Pleased to meet you, Rye.
Okay, well, we can. He lets go of your hand. It is a little clap. We can do an investigation to find your hat.
Yes, that might be in order. I don't remember where I put it down yesterday. Actually, I don't remember taking it off, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, what does it look like?
Hang on, let me check Lethy's spells, because if she has this, she's just going to use it out of practicality. She does not. Peck. She does not have minor illusion. Well, it's, sort of a military-style hat, dark green, same color as my vest, with a gold band around the base of it, and a dark brownish bill? Beak? Brim? What is that called?
Pete, I think.
Possibly.
And he sort of folds his arms over his chest and does a big think kind of pose. Like, okay, green and brown. We can do that. And he does a nice little spin turn around to regard the room and puts his hands on his hips like, okay, we can start here. And I'm just going to straight up roll him an investigation because, that, why not?
I will.
What is it?
I will also roll investigation. A 9. Bless your heart,
Once again, he always rolls badly. Does investigation? I don't get this.
That's a 23.
That's a hell of a lot better. So Rye he starts looking around this room and he goes over to the couch and starts picking up all the couch cushions in that very, I'm just tucking everything over my shoulder without abandon kind of way. And it's like, I'm checking here, and then he'll go and sort of check behind the couch and under the couch. He's fixated on the couch, but you can tell he's not finding anything.
And Lethy kind of blinks and she kind of hides a giggle behind her hand and looks around again, and she finds her hat. It was just sitting on a coffee table. But because she is here to be polite, she is going to set the hat down on top of one of the discarded pillows and be like, "Oh, you found it."
And he's gonna sort of perk up and turn around and look straight at the hat and like, and point.
And she's going to applaud. Because manners.
And he's just gonna sit there and look really proud of himself.
Thank you very much for your assistance.
You're welcome. Glad I could help. And he's just sort of, I did an investigation. He has no idea he rolled a 9. He just felt proud.
And she just sort of gently picks up her hat and dusts off the top of it and plops it on her head, making sure that it's nice and, straightened out, as a hat should be.
He kind of gives a nod, and then, was Mom able to help you too?
Oh, well, actually I was more here to help her, or rather we were helping each other. I was here to teach her my language.
And you can see his eyes sort of go a bit round. Oh, I didn't know she liked learning languages. Languages are fun. What kind of language is it?
It's a touch-based telepathic language, centered around memory and sensation.
I'm just going to straight up roll him in it to see if he can figure out what that means.
That's 12.
I mean, he knows what telepathy is, and he knows what memory is, and he knows what sensation is. He's just sort of going to cock his head to one side. He's like, I didn't know there was a language like that.
It's my first language. It's called Echo. It's very useful. Well, it's useful when other people can understand you, but he
gives a very understanding nod at that. Yeah, no, I know. I haven't found anyone. Oh, no. I found one person who can read my special language, but that was only recently, so before that I was the only one.
Oh. What language do you write in, then?
Oh, I can show you. And he's gonna reach into his space. I do not roll that with an S or 20. Oh my god. Okay, that's not a 1. He sticks his little hands into his red infinity scarf that's around his neck, and he pulls out a stack of paper and a pencil, and he just sort of starts writing on it. And much like Echo looks to other people, That's what this looks like, but it's still a written language, so I know what written languages happen to Lethy. You sort of write stuff down and then hold it up and say, it looks like this! It's just sort of kind of like squiggles and stuff.
Yeah, and, right, you can roll insight for a sec if you'd like.
Sure. What's his insight? 5, I think. Yep. 22!
Dang!
Nice.
Okay, that's a good roll. So, basically, right, you take a look at Lethy, and she looked really excited to see the written language, but then there's, like, kind of a flicker of... Like, there's recognition in her eyes, and then just a bit of disappointment, and she sighs and says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't see it. My magic works on my eyes and my brain. Everything gets translated for me, so it just looks like echo to me."
Oh. And he turns it back around and looks at it, and it had translated basically into, "Hi, my name is Rye."
Which would have just looked like squiggly loops because she didn't actually touch it, but it would have just looked like, the squiggly loop script that she uses to write echo.
And he sort of looks at it a little disappointed and is like, "That's not quite the same as being able to read it," but he kind of scratches at his head a little bit. "You can read it, but you're not reading it, you're reading... okay.
Reading a bit of a rough approximation."
What does echo look like?
Hang on a tick. And she reaches into her own hammer space and pulls out a leather-bound notebook embossed with designs of gears and flips open to a blank page, and she scribbles something down on the page and shows you, and it looks utterly incomprehensible. It looks like toddler doodles. It's just incomprehensible, squiggly, loopy lines.
Rye does not seem bothered by this. like he was writing in Druidic, and the way he writes Druidic is very, very similar. But he sort of looks at his Druidic doodles and then looks at Echo, and he's sort of looking between the two. It's like, okay, no, those are cool. They're pretty.
Thank you. Ultimately, the script doesn't matter. I could write in, well, if I actually knew how to write, I could write in pretty much any language that I wanted to. How it works is, well, you have to touch the writing to be able to understand it.
He's slowly reaching a very twiggy finger out to poke your notebook.
And she will notice this and lower the notebook so he can poke.
Poke! It's just a quick little boop! And then he's looking at it going, does this work?
Roll me a wisdom check.
Just straight?
Just straight.
Nice.
Just roll me a straight wisdom.
Oh my god, I cannot press the right buttons today. There we go.
Oh damn, 18. Yeah, I mean, it's not as clear as it would have been if you got like a nat 20 or something, but with an 18, yeah, you poke it and there's just sort of a feeling of greeting and a memory of different ways people have said hello. And then there is a feeling of somebody introducing themselves. Like, there's like a bunch of memories of different people saying hello, a bunch of memories of people saying my name is, or you can call me, or, whatnot and what have you. And then there's the feeling of grinding gears, of rain on the pavement, of the flicker of a gas lamp, of turning pages, and of film ticking past a camera projector.
Rye's eye goes really, really round, and the blue color in it gets really saturated, and there's stars in it. Like, it is Sparkle Town over here. He's just delighted. Like, you don't even have to roll insight for this one. He's basically just going to the whole sparkle, 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 sparkle thing.
Aw, bless.
And he's just sort of... He's looking at it. We still got his little finger just sort of extended, and then he just looks up at Lethy, and then back down at the book, and then he just sort of puts his hands on his cheeks and goes, "Eh."
I take it you could understand then.
It seemed like you were just saying hello.
I said hello and then I introduced myself. Of course, it doesn't translate well with names. It doesn't translate well with word names. But that's my name in Echo.
Oh, with gears and rain and film and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Cool. What did Mom introduce herself like that too?
After I taught her how, yes.
What is hers like?
Very warm and very bright.
And he gives a very, very solid nod. Like, mm-hmm. And then he pauses, he goes, he's sort of just tapping his little twiggy fingers together. He's like, Could you teach me too?
And you don't even have to roll insight because her eyes light up and she kind of glances at the door, but it's very half-hearted glance at the door, because, like, on the one hand, yes, I should be going home. I have work. On the other hand, teach new
This is
friend.
a baby!
And on the other hand, teach new friend how to speak my language and not be the only one who understands me anymore. And
he's just doing the ultimate please face right now.
Aww. And she kind of smiles and says, well, I suppose I have time to give another lesson.
What do I need to do? I mean, I've got lots of paper and pencils and crayons if we need those.
Well, it's easier to learn to speak than to write. If you would prefer to learn that first. If you would prefer to learn to write first, I could teach you that as well.
Oh, well, don't you need to know the words to write them down?
And she kind of wobbles her hand back and forth. Not exactly. How do I put it? So, Echo is a language that's based on your memories. You can communicate anything that you can picture in your head. Anything that you can... Any sensation, any thought that you can fully picture, you can send to someone else.
Ooh. That sounds cool. That sounds a lot easier than trying to describe stuff.
It's very useful. When I met your mother, Miss your mum? That's the same thing, right? Right?
Yep.
Right. Well, when I met her, we were... Well, I was in jail at the time. But when I first used Echo to talk to her, we were in a courtroom, and I didn't know how to explain that the person who we were going up against was a very bad person, because she had done a very bad thing. But... Well, I didn't have the words to explain that, so I just used Echo to show, well, what I saw her do. That was a very bad thing. Ugh.
There is a blink, dot, kind of expression on Rye's face. And he's not sure what to take away from that statement, but then he sort of just nods.
And she just kind of shrugs and says, like you said, it's useful.
Okay, well, what do we need to do? I haven't been allowed to. I have not been really taught a language before. I mean, Nettle kind of helped me learn, but I was also just listening a whole bunch. No one's taught me anything before.
Well, I do find that introductions are always the easiest way to start. Goodness. Okay. And she looks at her hands for a moment, and she kind of glares at them for some reason, and then she takes off her gloves. Rye, you can roll perception if you like.
Okie dokie. I think it's... yes, it is. 24.
That is one off from a nat 20. Okay. Yeah, you
He is an
definitely...
observant boy.
You definitely notice these, even though she's kind of angling her hands away to try and keep you from seeing. There are pretty clear marks on her palms. In one hand, she has, basically she has two hearts in her hands. One is, upright, and the other is upside down. And she kind of frowns at them for a second and is like, oh, goodness, every morning. And she sort of rubs her hands together and claps, and then they're gone.
He tilts his head to the side, having seen that little thing. And he's just like, you okay?
Oh, yes, of course. I don't know what those are. They aren't always that shape, but sometimes they are. I don't know what they're doing. They're annoying. And she kind of settles down on the ground, crisscross applesauce, and offers you her hands.
He's just going to sort of shimmy over. He's not going to sit down because with Letty sitting down, they're about the same height now.
Yeah.
And he's just going to sort of hold his hands out in mimic.
And she's going to, because she would have been holding her hands out, palms up, so if he does the same thing, she's going to gently set her hands on top of his.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Rye, there's kind of a feeling in your head of just a gentle tap, 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 like someone knocking on a door.
Oh, that's gonna make him shiver a little bit.
You alright?
Was that you doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. No, I'm okay. I'm okay. And he sort of tenses up a little bit and then forces himself to relax.
You don't have to force yourself if you don't feel comfortable.
No, I'm okay. What do I do?
Well, the tap is sort of asking permission. So consider it like inside your head there's a door, right? When somebody wants to start a conversation with you in Echo, they will knock on your brain door. And if you open the brain door, then they can talk to you.
Oh, okay. And he closes his eye a little bit, and you can kind of get the impression that he's trying to imagine a literal door as clearly as he can. And he does. He just sort of imagines this door, and then imagines putting his hand on the handle and pulling it open.
And there is a similar feeling to when you poked the paper of just, hello, greeting.
And he just sort of, he doesn't open his eye, but he's just like, oh cool.
Try saying hello back.
And he thinks about it for a second, and he pictures there's someone sort of like lots taller than him. There's a lot of not necessarily the same kind of hello that Letty gives back. It's more of a less of peers and more of adults talking to a child kind of hello. And then a few child talking to adults saying hello back.
Good. You're doing wonderfully.
Oh, it worked?
Mm-hmm. That's all there is to it.
Oh, okay. Um, um. Oh, what should we say now?
Well, let me think. And she pauses for a moment and says, names is probably good to go with next. That's what I taught Miss Lynn next. So, names, right. So, if I were to say, hello, I am Lethy, it would be a bit like this. And there is the feeling of that familiar, cheerful hello again, followed by the image of a mirror, an image of Lethy, and then a more in-depth version of what she sent you through the paper, which is the first sort of impression you get is a whole lot of empty space, and then ticking clockwork, and then things being written down, turning pages, film through a projector again, rain on the pavement, the gas lamps, but you don't just hear them flickering and guttering, you also see the glow. And the sort of warm, happy glow of an oil lantern in a room that is comfortingly dark and quiet.
Ooh, it was shorter in your book.
Mm-hmm. It's easier to write down a short name than it is to write down a long name. If I were to write down my full name in Echo, goodness gracious, that would take up 6 pages. And I'm not even complete yet!
He does open his eye at that remark and just sort of looks her up and down. You look pretty well put together.
Oh, no, different kind of complete. I'm only about a week old. I've only been here for about a week. I'm still learning, still making my own experiences, still adding things to my name. When I have enough to really say who and what I am, my name will be complete, and there won't be as much of that empty space in my name. But for now...
I thought you were a grown-up.
That does seem to be a common impression. I don't quite know the difference. What is a grown-up?
Well, grown-ups are, stronger and smarter and have learned a whole bunch and are older.
So... legal adults. Right. I don't think either way I'm one of those. And she kind of wrinkles her nose trying to think of it, and then shakes her head. Time is weird and confusing.
I mean, how old do you feel?
Well, how do you feel an age? And she looks a bit confused and says, I mean, I've only been around for a day, but obviously I know more than a legal infant would. I seem to be capable enough of maintaining myself. Although it's probably a good thing I don't need to eat as much as most people, because I do not have any cooking experience. Note to self, pick up a book on that.
Teaching me. Mum's teaching me. And you might want to quickly roll an insight on him.
Happily. Okay. That's a +7.
16, that's enough. He said Lynn before he corrected himself to Mum, and you get this impression that he's not very used to calling her that. Like, it's like she said her name and it's like, nope, No, that's wrong. Correct it right now.
Yeah, and there is also sort of the thing that you guys are still, talking to each other in your heads as well as verbally. And she kind of pauses for a second, Rye, you kind of get a bit of a memory of somebody flipping through a book and sort of a mental questioning and the memory of a page about adoption cases in a law book.
He sort of blinks when that sinks in, and he tilts his head. Why was that there?
Oh, sorry. I forgot that I was talking in my head. Well, I noticed that you corrected yourself when you mentioned your mum. Okay, that is a new word. I need to look up the definition for that. Anyway, I noticed you mentioned that, and you called her by her name, Miss Lynn, and then you corrected yourself. And I remembered when I was studying a couple days ago for my court case when I was studying for my court case, there was a section in the book that was about adoption cases, and just that moment when your brain sort of connects dots. It was sort of, you are probably recently adopted, yes?
He kind of blushes and gives a little nod. Yeah, I'm still getting used to it.
Well, that's wonderful. I'm very happy for you. It's always good to have someone to look after you. A legal guardian is a very important thing to have.
She's a really good one. And he's sort of just, that kind of little shy hunch of the shoulders where he's not like curling in on himself scared or whatever, but it's just a little wiggle sort of thing. And he's very clearly very fond of Lynn.
Bless. And Rye, you can roll insight on the specific way Lethy is talking if you want, but
sure.
Damn, okay, insight today.
21. It's something that Rye is very good at.
Yeah. So Lethy's understanding of what a mom is very legal based. She doesn't actually seem to understand what a mom is. Like, as a person, she just knows that, okay, legal guardian who looks after a dependent.
I mean, it's not incorrect.
It's not. But she doesn't actually seem to know what a mom is besides, okay, legal guardian. Got it.
And he sort of looks up at her at that and goes, "Do you not have one?"
Have one what?
A mom.
Oh! No, I don't think I do. Let me think. Well, there was death, but I don't think they count. For one, they're not. Well, as I could tell, they weren't a lady, and for another, they were more. Yeah, no, I don't have one.
What about a dad?
I'm assuming a dad is a legal father figure? No. Nope, haven't got one of those either.
Oh. Huh. Well, no, that happens. Skip doesn't have either. So, and he just sort of gives a little shrug.
And she nods as if this is a perfectly normal thing to say.
I mean, tunes that bamf into existence. It's a thing.
Sometimes you just pop into existence, occasionally in a really shitty circumstance.
Yeah, occasionally. And he sort of pauses and then thinks about it. It's like, how how do I say my name?
Oh, well, you go through your experiences, you go through what you know, and you think of the things that you most associate with yourself, or that feel most you-ish, if that makes any sense.
He frowns a little bit, but he gives a nod and thinks about it. And the images that you sort of get, there's a beach, a blue ocean, and very vibrant green plants. And then there's a grey door and a grey hand on the handle of this door. And before it gets much further than that, there is an abrupt gold star, just like if you had grabbed a big star sticker and just smacked it down over the animation cell. That's basically what it was. It's like, nope, this is a star now. And then there's rain and a vibrant green arrow shooting through the air, and black shadows and red curtains, and a what almost looks like a puppy.
And Lethy smiles and says, "That's a lovely name."
And he just sort of looks a little bit bashful. Was that okay?
It was
Was it
perfect.
not too long?
It was perfect. You did
He
very
just sort of
well, sweetheart.
smiles. And you want to roll a quick insight?
Absolutely.
Nice, dirty 20. So there is, like, he's definitely proud of having been able to impart all of this to Lethy. But as you're sort of absorbing his name, there's something in the background that he doesn't even seem to notice is there. And you only catch a very brief flash of it. And it's round and white, and it almost looks like an eye, which blinks once and then is gone. And you get the impression that those first couple of images are something that he would rather forget.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that came after that star is what he would rather be.
Mm-hmm. Which is not uncommon for names in Echo. I won't tell you what in Lethy's name is what, but it's not uncommon for your name in Echo to be, well, it's a compilation of your experiences, so it's not uncommon for it to be not all pleasant. And she's not going to judge at all. Or ask questions, because that's rude.
He probably wouldn't answer them anyway. He's only just met you.
Mm-hmm. And then she kind of smiles and says, "Okay, now, when you're talking about someone else to someone else, you create a different version of their name, sort of to protect their privacy, yeah? So, for example, if I were to refer to you, I would call you, and, there's sort of an image in your head, right? Sort of an actual properly set up scene of the sound of rain on a rooftop and shadow puppets being cast on the wall."
He actually squeals at that a little bit. and he just sort of bounces in place. Like, he's not breaking the contact or anything, but he just sort of starts bouncing on his little stick legs. That's really nice.
Mm-hmm. You're a very nice person.
No, you're making him blush.
We are free with compliments in this house.
And and he sort of thinks about it for a second, and he makes an attempt at for lack of a better term, a nickname for Lethe, and it's sort of like tall and kind of green, but it's almost librarian-ish. But it's a bit indistinct because he's probably thinking about it way too hard.
You don't have to be quite so literal. Um, And she thinks for a minute and says, you know, sometimes it's easier to start with sort of bits and pieces of what the person actually introduces himself with. So, for example, your mum, Miss Lynn, is a, well, to me, she's, and you get the mental image of a match struck against the tinderbox and then lighting a candle.
Oh, a candle. Why a candle?
Well, she's a very warm and bright person, and she's... And Lethe pauses to think, and her answer doesn't come verbally, because she sort of sends Rye a sort of message in echo that explains her feelings, that dark has always been safe to her, but people who make her feel safe tend to be associated with lights in the darkness, basically points of attention in a safe space. And Lynn's personality is very bright and attention-catching and warm, and therefore is fire associated. And so a candle being lit in the darkness is a bright point in the darkness that is still safe and comforting, and that you can comfortably be near while still being warm.
Rye sort of, his eye widens a little bit, and then he gives a very enthusiastic nod. Oh, that makes sense.
And Lethe grins at him.
He gives a little hum. Okay, well then, and he tries again for a nickname for Lethe, and it's still sort of those shades of green and brown, but instead of trying to force that librarian thought, it's a coffee table and a notebook, which sort of flicks itself open, and a few of the pages flick over, and there's an umbrella and a clock and a drawing of rain before the book closes shut on the other side.
And she grins brightly, and right, you just get the happiest feeling in your head because, oh, that's a nice name. And there's just a very strong feeling of, I love it, thank you, very good, yes.
He's just sort of doing that little bounce again. He's very proud of himself. He's just sitting there going, oh, I did good. And you kind of get that from him as well.
And there's a feeling of agreement because, yes, you did very good. You're a natural.
And then he gets this look of intense concentration on his face. And a different image comes across. And it's a feeling warm and very soft and fluffy. And it's like being in a very warm hug. And there's like a nice comforting pat on the head.
Aww. And Lethe just sends a similar feeling back, but because it's her own memories, it's more of a feeling of being hugged by multiple people at once, like being in the middle of a group hug.
Rye just sort of giggles at that. That's a big hug. That's a big hug.
It was the first one I ever had. We were all quite frazzled after everything that happened, but it felt very nice.
It's a nice first hug to have.
Mhm.
I don't remember mine. And he kind of gives a little shrug after thinking about it for a second.
And she kind of laughs and shrugs and says, "Well, I do have the advantage of it being, almost yesterday for me."
Yeah. Yesterday's a lot easier to remember.
Mhm.
And he gets this look on his face, and you can kind of tell, especially seeing as you're basically still communicating via echo, he's trying to think of these nicknames for the different people that he knows. And, like, the first one that kind of comes across is it's a wooden planter box with a plant in it. They're specifically nettles. And it kind of blooms with these little tiny red flowers. And it has this nice little hum in the background.
And there's a moment of there's kind of a sort of click feeling in the back of Rye's head, just sort of the feeling of a light bulb being turned on, as Lethe's just like, "Oh, I recognize that," and she sends back across with the similar feeling, a feeling of a bright, warm updraft breeze that sweeps you off your feet, and the colors of a sunset, and the feelings of being loved and happy, and sort of the mental image of a home. And just, there's sort of a mental question mark at the end. Sort of a, are we talking about the same person?
Rye immediately breaks into giggles. Did Naddle do that to you too?
Quite literally swept me off my feet.
He just gives this very enthusiastic nod. Like, me too.
They're very
this
friendly.
is fun. This is fun.
Mhm.
He sort of just gives this another little wiggle. I'm going to spend all day thinking of how to call people like this. This is cool.
Tell you what, next time I come over, well, if there is a next time, I hope I'll be invited over again. Next time I come to visit, you'll have to tell me some of your friends' names, yeah?
Yeah, I can do that. And he pauses and then tilts his head to the side. Did Mum give you a business card?
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't have a mouth, so it's not a conventional smile, but it's like the upturn at the bottom of his eye kind of smile. If you've got a card, then you're always welcome.
Is that how that works? Oh, that's good to know.
Yep. I think it'd be nice for you to visit again.
Well, somebody's got to make sure that you and Miss Lynn keep up on your lessons.
And you can tell immediately that he's just suddenly pictured the fact that now that he and Lynn both know this, they can talk in echo, and he's he's buzzing.
I expect you two to help each other practice. And she sort of gently boops him on the nose.
Really have one, but in the middle of his head kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he just sort of giggles. Yeah, we can do that. That's fun. And then he kind of thinks about it. It's like, I wonder if Nettle can learn.
I mean,
She has net hands.
well, you don't need to be touching with hands. I mean, sometimes it's enough to just, and she sort of lifts her hands off of Rise for a second and then just gently bumps her wrist against his shoulder. And there's sort of the mental flash of a feeling of, like this.
Oh, Rise is ecstatic. He's just sort of doing that little bebop again. I'm gonna teach Nettle, and then we can talk in network speech, and we can talk in Echo, and that's really cool.
And Lethy just seems delighted because, yes, somebody interested in learning my weird telepathy language.
And he gives a little hum, and you kind of recognize it as a similar sort of hum to what Network was doing last night to Lynn. So he's obviously fluent in house hum.
A very useful thing to be fluent in.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, Lethy is
so.
not fluent. Lethy does not speak house.
Yet.
She will continue to treat the house with, the utmost respect and manners, of course. But she does not speak house.
Of course. Well, if I can teach Echo to Network, then they could talk in Echo, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, he's delighted by this thought.
Lethy is just happy to have people who understand her when she talks.
And he kind of reins himself in a little bit, and then straightens his hoodie a little bit and puts his hands behind his back. Thank you for teaching me. I know you were going, but that was fun.
Of course, I'm happy to teach. I'm happy to teach you anytime. And
maybe next time I can teach you something?
I would be delighted by that.
I mean, if writing, you said that it kind of doesn't work, but I wonder if drawings do the same thing. Drawings kind of like Echo, but written down. Ish, I think. Maybe?
Well, maybe you could teach me how to draw then.
Eddie, he just gives a nod. I can do that.
She's just politely not bringing up the fact that she does know kind of how to draw. She does little doodles. Because she likes this small bean, who she doesn't quite understand is a child and not just a very small person.
Rampant enthusiasm a child does not make, but
Exactly. Also, she doesn't really have much of an understanding of how children work besides legally. Oh, okay, this is a person under a certain age who relies on a parent. Okay. Child. So I think maybe she does know that Rye is a child, but that just means that in her head that, okay, if this child gets into trouble with the law, then he's not going to big person jail.
They wouldn't be able to hold him anyway. Oh, bless. That's fun.
Lethy not knowing things will continue to be funny to me.
Oh, boy.
She assumes she knows how the world works. She is very wrong.
Yeah, same.
I think with the promise of, okay, next time you will teach me how to do drawing things, and I will teach you how to do more brain-talky things. Lethy is going to stand up and say, well, I'm afraid I really should get going. Goodness. Knowing the hotel, it's probably falling to shambles without me.
Oh? What do you mean?
Well, I'm a repair person, sort of. Not officially. I fix things. I fix a lot of things. Also, I clean. I clean and I fix things. And oh boy, the place where I'm staying, the Midnight Manor Hotel, it has a lot of broken things. And like, it's a lot of fun to play with and it's a lot of fun to fix. But also, goodness gracious, it's falling to pieces.
Oh, what kind of things can you fix?
Oh, well, gosh, darn near anything so far. I usually work on antiques, or at least that's what I've been working with around the manor, and that's always fun because you take something that's old and forgotten and you give it a little bit of extra time by giving it some time of your own, and that's nice. Um, but I've fixed furniture, I've fixed toys, I've fixed books, I've fixed paintings, I've fixed appliances, pots, kettles, spoons, lots of spoons. So many spoons. Why are they all bent? A couple forks and knives and whatnot too. I got to work on a bunch of stuff that they had in the attic last week. Oh, it was so much fun. I got to bring down these old stuffed toys that were just kind of sad and left alone up there, and I was able to fix them all up and put them in the rooms, and now they can have fun and give people hugs, and it's good. Yes.
Oh, and he pauses, and then I'm going to have him roll in his hemisphere again. What am I doing? D10. Cool. And he pulls out a couple of items, one after the other, and one is they're very small. Like one of them looks like it's a teacup, but it's basically broken in two, and the other one's a small teapot with the handle and the spout broken off. And there's a teapot and four teacups and four saucers, and they're all chipped or cracked or broken into several pieces. And he just sort of holds them close to his chest a little bit. Do you know how to fix this?
Oh. And she sort of kneels down again and gently holds out her hands to take the things.
And he very carefully hands them over, but he does it so that like the teapot and the teapot pieces all in one go, and then the little teacups all in. Like, he keeps all the pieces sort of together, and he does it so carefully that he's obviously spent a lot of time paying attention to which piece goes with which item.
Mm-hmm. And she looks at them very, very carefully and thinks. And says, I think I might have something. Would you like to see a bit of magic?
And he just sort of brightens a bit. I like magic.
And she sort of very carefully sets the pieces on the ground and sort of pieces them together like a puzzle. And then she reaches into her pocket and she pulls out a bright golden pocket watch that doesn't seem to be making any sound.
He's just watching with fascination at this point.
And she sort of thinks for a minute and then carefully scooches the piece together pieces closer to each other so they're in sort of a 1 foot area.
Mm-hmm.
And she closes her eyes and one hand sort of wraps tightly around the pocket watch while the other comes to rest on top of the tea set pieces. And there's sort of a weird sound. It's like if a clock could tick backwards. And
cool.
The cracks and chips and missing pieces in the tea set vanish. Like, it's like watching them rewind in time almost until it almost looks brand new.
Oh, he is sparkle eyes again. He is all sparkles.
And she opens one eye lifts her hand, peeks down, and says, "Oh, good, it worked."
He's doing his little happy dance. It's so sparkly right now. He's just too stunned to say anything. He's just like, oh my god, that was cool!
First thing I ever used that little trick on was a teacup, actually. Wait, no. The first thing I used it on was a statuette. The second thing was a teacup, though.
Thank you?
Of course. This tea set obviously loves you a whole bunch, and you love it too, so it's good that you should have more time with each other.
And he sticks his hand in his scarf again, and he pulls out a gold coin and tries to hand it to you.
Oh, what's this for?
For fixing my tea set.
Oh, no, sweetheart, you don't need to give me anything like that. I did it because we're friends. Yes? That's how friends work.
Yeah, I mean, kind of, but, like, it still took effort, right?
Well,
It looked like it took effort.
Well, it's kind of the only thing that I came into the world knowing how to do. It was nothing, really. I'm just happy that I could help.
He kind of gives a bit of a squint and then holds out the gold coin again. Then consider this an unrelated gift.
And she kind of blinks and says, well, okay, if you insist. And she accepts it.
You now have one gold coin.
And then she's actually going to pause, and she's going to think for a moment. And then she's going to reach into her own hammer space. And she pulls out a weird-looking toolkit. This is officially a jeweler's kit, because she does have that. And she rummages around in it for a second and pulls out some thin wires and a thin necklace chain. And she wraps the wires around the coin and puts it and sort of turns it into a pendant. And then
That's cool.
And then strings it onto the chain and fastens it around her neck and says, "There, now it's a good luck charm."
Oh, he looks thrilled. That wasn't what he was expecting, but he's just sitting there going, you have made this small child very happy.
Good.
Oh, bless. I love Effie so much.
She doesn't understand how money really works yet, because she's been able to survive without it.
That's fair enough.
She's been able to survive by just being nice to people. So you know what? This is now fun good luck charm, special sentimental object from friend.
Aww. Aww. Ah. Cute. He's gonna after he gets over how delighted that little gesture made him feel, he's gonna carefully take his tea set and put it back in his hammer space.
Good.
But he can't glow, but if he were the kind of Toon to glow, he would be glowing right now.
Now, if you ever need that fixed again, just give me a call, yeah?
I'll be more careful with it.
But it's okay, things break on occasion, and when that happens, we just need to pick up the pieces and fix them.
Do you want to roll an insight real quick?
Absolutely. $24! What do I get?
Oh boy. Well, actually, I might roll him a deception, just to...
I got a 24!
Yeah, I know. What's his deception? Do 20 plus 4. Okay. He's trying to hide it, but you kind of get the impression just from the flicker of how his expression changes that he wasn't the one who broke the tea set in the first place. And he is determined to not let it be broken again.
And she kind of tilts her head to the side and says, "And if anybody else happens to do the breaking for you," and she kind of winks and puts one finger to her lips and says, "I'll fix it and then deal with them, yeah?"
He looks a bit awkward at that, but then nods. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Miss Lethy.
Of course.
He's just sort of standing there looking a little bit awkward now.
And she's going to sort of smile and dust off and stand up, and I think she's going to say her goodbyes and head out.
And Rye's just going to stand on the doorstep of Network and just sort of give her a big full arm wave as she walks down the street away from Stagehand's Requiem before going back inside once she's out of sight.
And I think that's where we end our FPS. Thank you so much for doing this with me, Wiz.
That was cute. I enjoyed that greatly.
Cute as hell.
Oh, I love them. I love them so.
I love Rye, just Frisch's little shadow bean.
Oh, dear. Oh, boy. That was fun. Thank you, Will.
Thank you. I had a whole bunch of fun. We should probably say goodbye to our listeners. Everybody say goodbye to listeners. Goodbye, listeners.
Bye, listeners.
Have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.